All right, here we are, guys. It is that time of the year. I am putting together a jerkbait rod. It's a time of year that I like to go fishing. You know, the water's cold. We're here in December, and I get to start throwing a jerkbait. I love throwing a jerkbait because you sit there and you wait and you wait and you wait. You've got that thing paused and you hadn't got a bite, it seems like, in forever. And then it's paused and you know, you're about to give up on it and bam, that line goes tight and you get a bite. And then you generally will catch 2 or 3 more right there really, really close. So I just put a reel on a 6-foot, 9-inch medium action rod. And I know you guys are gonna ask me, well, what kind of action is that? Is it like fast or? I really don't know. I'll just be honest with you. It's just a medium action. It says 6'9", 1/4 to 5/8, line 8 to 17, action fast. There you go. That's what it is. Yeah, it's a Bass Pro Platinum rod. I've been using these rods now for about 3-4 years. I really like them when I bend them. If I kind of did this right here, guys, you can just see it's kind of, I guess that's a fast. I'd say it's a moderate fast is what I would say it is, but I like it. It's you know, the reason that I choose this rod, one, I'm 6 foot tall. I'm 5'11 3/4, but in my book, I round up, I'm 6 foot tall. It's like when you catch a 4 3/4 pound bass, it's easier to say it was a 5-pounder. Well, I'm 5'11 3/4. It's easier for me to say 6 foot, but back to my point. My wife always laughs at me, you're 5'11. But anyway, so when I'm jerking that thing and you're standing in the boat, you don't want your rod hitting the water. You're holding it straight down and you jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, jerk, pause. That's why I use a shorter rod. A 6'6" would be great. A 7 foot's too long for me. I'm always hitting the water. It's just not good, a 6'9". So use with the longest rod that you can get away with and not hit the water. You know, if you're fishing from the bank, you probably need to use a 6-foot rod or even maybe a little bit shorter so you're not, you know, hitting the water all the time. You know, if it's cold and you lift it out of the water, you can get ice all in your guides. But that's why I use that 6'9" rod. So let's put some fishing line on this thing. You know, a mistake that I see so many people make, and myself included, because if you go back early in my career, man, I hated jerkbait fishing. I just did not ever have any success on it at all. And a big thing that I did wrong was I used too big a line. Like 12-pound test is just too big. It's just not the right size. So, you know, one reason is, you know, you can't get the bait as deep, you know, on 12 as you can 10. Another reason, 10-pound test, you're able to cast the bait a lot further. And it's also important, guys, to use fluorocarbon because fluorocarbon is a denser line. I feel like the baits get a little bit deeper with it. It's kind of, I bet you guys can hear that spool going round and around. We're getting close, getting close. I don't want to overfill my spool. That's a mistake I make a lot too. I kind of am not paying attention, but it is important. I see a lot of people that go fishing with me, you know, people that may be a little less experienced. They don't fish with a full spool. This is an added tip to the jerkbait deal here, but fill your spool up because if that spool's not full, your gear ratio's all off. You can't cast it near as far if that's a half spool or a 3/4 spool. I'm amazed at people that don't fill your spool. So if you're trying to save line, put a backing on there. You know, we've probably talked about that in a previous video about putting braid backing on your reel so it'll cast further and all those things. If not, we need to do one. But fill your spool up, that's important. So there it is. There is my jerkbait rod, 6'9" medium. I got a high-speed reel, 8-3-1. Again, that reel is just used to pull that slack up. You know, when you're jerk, jerk, pause, then I've got a bow in my line going out there to that water. Because if my line's tight, I feel like I'm moving that bait. So I leave a bow, and that's what I'm watching. You're watching that bow just as you would a bobber. I don't have a bobber here, but just think of that bow as a bobber. When that bow goes tight or it moves or jumps, that's when you got to bite. I just give it a side sweep, you know, with the hook set, and then I reel really fast to take up all that slack. That's why I have the 8-3-1. So that is my setup. Got me a little cushion right there. All right, so this is the jerkbait I'm gonna grab. It's just a skinny cutter. I'm guessing it's an IU color. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's got a brownish yellow back, white sides, you know, kind of gives a flash. Got a little bit deeper diving bill, skinny cutter 110. And we're gonna just tie this on here. You know, a fluorocarbon, we've talked about this a bunch, tie some form of a cinch knot. I double it. I go around 3 times, going down, and then back up through the top, the same way my line was coming out. That's important, and moisten it a little bit. Get my knot tight, pull my tag, pull it tight, didn't break. Always check your knot. I always check my knots. All right, ow. Let's go out to the pond and let's just show you. I just want to make sure you understand about the slack line, you know, especially if you're in a boat. Your boat's going to be moving. It's all the more important to have slack line, but I can show you out here in the dock real quick before it gets dark. Oh, it's calm. That's one thing I don't like, really like jerkbait fishing when it's this calm, you know, especially in super clear water. You're okay jerkbait fishing when you've got a little stain to the water. Man, when it's super calm like this, you better find a different way to catch them. One thing I always do, the first thing I do when I tie on a jerkbait, I just want to see, is it going to suspend, sink? It always changes. Every jerkbait's different, and you know, water temperature changes. This one is about perfect. If you watch it, it just slowly rises up. I mean, it just very slowly rises up. So I like that. It's got just a little bit of nose down. Oh, I didn't hit the rocks. So I'm gonna jerk it, you know, I don't know, 8-10 times, get it down. So let's say I've got it down. So now I just hold my rod just like that, and I've got a bow in my line. That's just a bow. I'm gonna count to 5, 6, 8, whatever it's gonna be. Jerk it a couple more times. Leave that bow in the line. So if I had it tight, I'm moving that bait. Anytime that line's tight, that bait's moving. And that's not the premises of jerkbait fishing. Jerkbait fishing is all, you know, wintertime is all about it sitting still, you know, sitting still for, you know, an extended period of time. So I've got to put a bow in the line to make that sit still. Anytime I don't have that bow, I am moving that bait. So that's jerkbait fishing right there. You know, jerkbait fishing's imitating a shad. You know, it's a dying shad or a shad fluttering, or, you know, that's again why jerkbait fishing works so well. You know, it's just an injured shad coming through the water. Well, obviously, this is a pond. I don't have shad in the pond. Not to say you can't get a bite on it, but it's not what they feed on, you know, every day, day in, day out. So that is an example of, you know, making sure that you have that bow. That line's gonna lay on the water. Make sure you have that bow. You know, adjust your jerks. You know, sometimes in the super cold water, make it a really subtle jerk. You know, just try to move that bait just a few inches. You know, and there could be days those fish are active. You got a lot of wind, you know, you can really, you know, really pop it and jerk it hard. You know, and that's kind of a lot of times maybe a little bit more in dirty water to move more water so those fish can, you know, find that bait. But, you know, if you're skimp on anything here, you know, don't skimp on the line. Don't listen to one thing I said here. Don't go with too big a line on your jerkbait fishing this winter. You know, 10-pound test, that's as big as I will ever go. A lot of times you'll even see me go to 8 to get the bait a little deeper. It's all about sometimes getting that bait just a little bit deeper, you know, because those fish are coming up from so far. But 6-9 rod, you can change the reel, whatever reel you want. I use 8-3-1 just because I'm taking that slack up that much quicker with that 8-3-1. But so, man, I hope this helps. You know, that's my setup. That's what I use. That's what works for me. Appreciate you guys following along. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave me a comment. Let me know how it does.